Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Headline: Trump says there will be a bloodbath if he loses the election. Former President Trump vowed on Saturday that there would be a bloodbath if he's not reelected in November. Everybody run and hide. Donald Trump said he's going to create a bloodbath. Get in your houses and lock the door. No one is safe. Is that what they want you to think? Really? Come on. A lot of the language that we use, a lot of the imagery, especially men, comes from sports. For example, you say, I'll run interference for you, or that idea was a home run. So references to baseball and football. And a lot of the language you use around sports can even imply violence. Like, we're going to get killed against that team. Doesn't mean you're actually going to be murdered. I think we can all agree. And this controversy actually reminds me about when Trump said about Clinton that she got schlonged, quote unquote, in 2008 in the Democrat primary against former President Barack Obama. Trump said, quote, she was favored to win and got schlonged. She lost. She lost. So it's quasi-sexual language, quasi-aggressive language that really, like, in private, just guys talking, nobody would bat an eye at. But the media made it into something very scandalous and very scary, which is similar to this bloodbath stuff. The comments came at a rally here as Trump discussed the possibility of an increasing trade war with China over auto manufacturing. The rally was intended to get out the vote for Republican Senate candidate Bernie Moreno, whom Trump endorsed in December ahead of Ohio's primary on Tuesday. So at least in the second paragraph, they admit that it was in the context of a trade war with China over auto manufacturing.
Those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Quote, if you're listening, Presidency, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, you're not going to hire Americans and you're going to sell the cars to us? No. We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars if I get elected, Trump said. So that actually sounds like kind of an attractive proposition once you hear what he was actually talking about. He wants to help American manufacturing with the use of tariffs. You know, not everyone agrees with that, but a lot of people find that to be a nice policy that could help, American manufacturing. Everything we say, we're putting it under the microscope. We're the harm-avoidant, feminized society where you can't say anything with aggressive implications. But, when you talk about a bloodbath in the economic terms, that makes sense because even according to Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, one of the definitions for bloodbath is, quote, a major economic disaster. So again, when men talk about business, we would tend to use this strong language like bloodbath to describe something bad happening economically or bad happening in business. Like, the next quarter is going to be a bloodbath unless we increase our marketing. Totally run-of-the-mill. So, yeah, Trump was talking about the car industry, but he could also be saying that it's going to be a bloodbath in the sense that there's going to be a lot of crime. I mean, maybe he meant crime, so it could actually be literally referring to violence. But I don't think he was saying that my supporters are going to create a bloodbath if I lose. Like, that would be a crazy thing to say. And that's what the media is implying that he said. And I think that's pretty dishonest, number one. And number two, it also just shows that we live in a pussified society where, everyone is so frightened of anything, physical or any kind of implied aggression that, we're the kind of society where if a little boy makes his hand like a gun and says bang, bang, then we're going to call the cops. That's what this reminds me of. So this is how men talk, but I think even men and women would equally say that this is a negative trend in society, at least most women. I think, radical feminists like to pick apart everything everyone says, so I would not include them in that. But normal people, I think, would find this quite silly. My name is Michael McCara. Thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Twitter. Visit my blog, michaelmcarablog.com. If you like this video, then hit like. And finally, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it.
I've only heard what love can do, and now I'm getting love from you. Make your vow.